Hey guys, and welcome to QualityShot. I'm extremely excited to be joined by Steven from the Slice again, and we're going to be touching upon the Laver Cup, potentially how it could be maybe more competitive, maybe, and also the San Diego Open, which Steven has a press pass for, and the roster looks incredible. But before we get into it, Steven, how you doing, mate?
Fantastic as always, Faison. Thanks for having me. You're back in London. Excited to talk quickly about the Laver Cup beatdown and the San Diego tournament. That's looking amazing.
Yeah, you can tell my smug face. I'm really happy about the Laver Cup beatdown. I'm not actually. I thought it would. I think we both said that it might potentially be the best chance for Team World to win, and it didn't really go that way. I think there were a lot of close matches early doors where like they lost in championship tie breaks, and then that think just swung it, and then from there Europe just ran with it. But I don't really want to get too much into the results and what happened, and because I think everyone knows 14-1. It was pretty comprehensive beatdown, as he said. But I wanted to ask you, as someone who clearly was, I'm assuming, rooting for the Canadians and Team World.
Yeah.
I mean, how can it be more competitive? I mean, is there a way that they can change the format or tweak it at all that we can see something where it's a bit more competitive? Or is it just a case of generationally Europe are just so much stronger than Team World at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. Like, I do think this was the best opportunity Team World had, and I think if you ran it back, like with these matchups, it could have been a lot closer. Although, Daniil Medvedev is arguably the best player in the world on hard court. Well, it kind of proved that he is right now. So there's there's a talent gap, but I do think it could have been more competitive. Should have been maybe more competitive, but to me, the only real way they can change it is by changing the definition of Europe. Like, what is Russia a European country?
Yeah. Give Medvedev and Rublev to the rest of the world. Yeah.
Well, everyone, like I saw that on Twitter, right? And it's like, if you ask I don't know, because I'm not Russian and I don't have any Russian friends, but I'd be like, if somebody was born in like Moscow or whatever, you'd be like, are you European? And just ask them. I don't know what they would say. Like, would they be like, yeah, I'm totally European? Or would they be like, no, I'm Russian? Or like Baltic, or like whatever it's called, like East or like Western Asian. I don't know. But like Asia is not Europe. So we got to figure out. I feel like now it's hard to do because those guys like Medvedev, Rublev have already competed in the Laver Cup as Team Europe. So it's going to be hard to like switch them off, like, because it just won't be that legit. But that's the only thing I could see switching. But I also don't think they should switch. I think just keep going with this. Team World will eventually win. Like, they have, like, I mean, they might not, but I mean, the longer it goes, the more. Like, imagine next year now in London, if it's like a closer Laver Cup and Team World's right there, like the stakes will be high, the pressure will be high, and if they do get that breakthrough, it'll be like epic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think maybe they need to have a good start. Maybe if they had a better start this year, who knows? I mean, as you said, pressure builds and momentum, etc. as well. So it's strange, but
yeah,
I think obviously Team Europe had all the top 10 players, so it kind of makes a difference. But it's not like they didn't have players who could win games. I know Kyrgios was a bit injured, for example, so that didn't help. But they had Schwartzman and obviously Isner, and Nepalkov had a really good back end of the year. But yeah, that's your goal though for your next presser with Daniil Medvedev, to ask him whether he classes himself as a European or as an Asian or someone from the Asian continent. So that would be. I'm really interested because I don't know. I've actually got a Russian friend. I might just ask him, to be honest with you. He'll probably say Europe, I'd imagine, just because he's living here in the UK, though.
That's a good point. I should ask Medvedev that. Maybe I'll ask. So in San Diego, Felix and Shapovalov and Casper Ruud. I don't think Casper Ruud played on Laver Cup, but
he did.
Oh yeah, he was on Team World, right? Or not? Team Europe.
Team Europe. He's from Norway. Yeah.
So maybe I'll ask him if we get in press. I'll ask him be like, look, you guys are a bit stacked. Like, do you feel like we should donate the Russians to the Team World? Kick him out of Europe. But we'll see what they say. But I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess Denis Shapovalov was born. He's born in Israel, but I think he's like Russian in some way. Like he's Canadian citizen, but he's born in Israel, and I think his mom is from Russia.
Okay.
Like directly, I think he speaks Russian. So. Maybe he'd be a pretty good person to ask. I'd be like, yo, Team World needs some help. Like, what do you think? Do Russians classify as Europeans, or should we switch them over to Team World?
Yeah, exactly. No, that'd be cool. And talking of San Diego then, so obviously you've got a press pass, and Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about the roster there and kind of what you're going to be up to, and I guess the people to look out for?
Totally. Yeah, San Diego looks like an awesome tournament. I'm pretty, there's not a lot of tennis tournaments on the west coast of North America, like that, which is kind of a shame. I mean, I guess it makes sense. There's more people on the East Coast and stuff, but it's perfect tennis weather out here most of the year for it. So, there's San Diego, but there was basically only Indian Wells before that. There's a couple good challengers like the Vancouver Open, which is like right by my house, which hasn't ran for 2 years because of COVID. But anyways, it's just good to see pro tennis back out here, and the San Diego venue looks amazing. So unfortunately, I couldn't be down there in person because that would be obviously ideal. And I will be next year if this tournament keeps rolling. But yeah, the lineup for San Diego is awesome. We got Rublev, Rude, Hurkacz, we got Daniel Evans, Felix Auger-Aliassime, Denis Shapovalov, Schwartzman. So this is like easily the quality of a ATP 500, maybe even like not an 1,000, but somewhere between a 500 and an 1,000 probably. So
750 new tournament.
Yeah, 750. That's right. So amazing lineup, for this tournament. Like one of the first round matches was Fognini versus Nakashima. Nakashima won that in 3 sets. It was pretty epic. Like we just also saw Karatsev play. We saw Fucsovics versus Dimitrov first round at a 250. Like that's pretty amazing, right? So and then we just watched Andy Murray play last night as well. I got to chat with him afterwards quickly in the press conferences. So I'm happy to be and privileged to be in the press gallery.
Yeah, his calves look good in the picture that you took.
Yeah, it was a bit of I don't want to bash the ATP like their setup at all because I know they're trying to do their best, but it looked like a bit of a hostage situation. Like I was like, it's like a negotiator or something, and he was like sat there like, please save me, like send money.
How's he feeling?
Yeah, well, I asked him. I said we chatted. I was back in Winston-Salem. He was kind of complaining. I think he lost. Yeah, he did lose the TFO there, and he said, "Look, my body's not the problem anymore. Like." I'm healthy. I am just not playing where I want to play. Like I'm just losing matches that are tight. And I think something changed at the U.S. Open. Maybe he lost, but it was a very good match against one of the top players in the world in Tsitsipas. So, and then in Metz last weekend, he had a few good wins. I think he beat Humbert and then he beat somebody else. He beat Humbert and then Pospisil, and then it was close with Hurkacz, which he was mad about losing to Hurkacz again because it was actually the exact same scoreline as. He lost back in Cincinnati to him, but Hurkacz is a baller. So anyway, ended up winning the tournament. So he's feeling good, and he got solid win against Kula today. I think I wanted to ask him if hopefully he wins his next match. Who does he play? He's he plays Rude next, so that's gonna be a tough ask. But honestly, if you're Andy Murray, 3-time major champ, former world number 1, I want to ask him obviously back when you were world number 1 or you were up in the top ranking, your goal in every tournament would be to win, like every tournament. I'm sure like that would be. I can't imagine him being at number 1 in the world be like, I just hope to make the semis. Now it's and like the comeback. I want to know how do you ride that balance of like I'm sure you still want to win at each tournament, but are you thinking about that? I feel like that'd be a good question, but I don't know.
No, I think you should go for it. Yeah, he's a very interesting character. I think he seems like a fantastic guy to interview because he's so open. With everything as well, but that'd be good. And I mean, who are you looking forward to the most? Who are you looking forward to interviewing the most? I guess.
I'd say Shapovalov and Felix. They're my Canadian guys, and it's a shame because I haven't been able to go see them in person. Really, I've seen Felix. I've chatted to him, before in Miami in 2019, but since the pandemic started, it's been tough. So at the National Bank Open in Toronto, I wasn't able to be there in person, but we chatted over the line. And it's as a journalist, you want to build. I'm reading this book right now, The Master by Christopher Clarey. So he is Christopher Clarey is like the New York Times columnist for tennis, and he's an amazing journalist, and he's like a proper journalist. I feel like, when I picture him, he's like sitting courtside, like smoking a cigar, like writing in his little notepad what's happening. Then after the match, he's like, so Roger, like what, it's like cool. But in the book, he talks about how he's been interviewing Federer for 20 years around the globe. And like he even like, you know, after some like an exhibition match, he was like waiting for Federer in the car. Federer gets in the car, they chat about it as they go to the airport. Then they take a private plane together to go up to like Chicago or something.
Wow.
Or I guess that was after Indian Wells. But basically, he builds these you build a relationship with players as you do your work, and then they trust you more, and then you'll get more access, you know, as they trust you, and you'll get better, basically, content and better ways to tell their stories to the public, which is kind of the role of us, you know, aspiring journalists. So I'm excited to talk to those guys because I feel like I'll hopefully continue to be able to build a bit of a recognition with them and a bit of a relationship, even though I haven't really had the chance to dap it up in person recently. But that's who I'm most looking forward to, I'd say.
Nice. So in the book, it doesn't say you just grab them and say, "Trust me, I'm good at doing interviewing. I promise, I'm a nice guy."
Yeah. No, it's somehow with the New York Times and they're all able to set up these epic interviews where they're flying on a private jet together, just one-on-one, like pretty crazy.
Standard, casual. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to who's your pick for the tournament?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe just Andy Murray, like straight up. Like maybe this is his comeback tournament. Beats Casper Ruud, and then he'd have to beat Sonego or Korda. I'd pick him as the favorite there. Then he'd have to beat Dimitrov or Auger-Aliassime. I'd honestly probably pick him as the favorite there.
Okay, really against Felix. Okay, interesting.
Maybe not against Felix. You never know who's going to turn up. Felix can be actually a lot more deadly in the 3-set format than the 5-set format at this point in his career. But it's definitely a winnable match for Murray. That's what I'm saying. And then, yeah, I don't think there's anyone in the draw that he can't beat. It would be tough against a really hot Shapovalov because Shapovalov did put the smackdown on him at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Rublev would obviously be tough. But those are the only two other guys who I think that I would be like a really steep ask for Murray at this point.
So big, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm looking forward to it, and good luck with all the coverage for it as well. Thanks for being on for a quick catch up, and hopefully Laver Cup next year is a bit more competitive here in London. I'm going to try and get tickets for it, so we'll see how that goes. But
yeah, it's in your own backyard. You got to get tickets for it. London 2022. Yeah. I think it will be. You know, I think, well, it doesn't help that it's in Europe now with all the Europeans playing there, but maybe I don't know. I asked Sebi Korda, I was like, man, the Team World needs some help. Are you hoping to play next year? And he's like, yeah, I'm hoping to play.
Of course he is. So yeah,
he's kind of Sebi Korda. I keep forgetting he's like 21. So his interviews are not the most exciting things ever. He's kind of like,
he's not quite opened himself up yet. He's just he's trying to make sure he doesn't say anything controversial. Probably
exactly.
But yeah, I had the ATP World Tour Finals, so the last one here in London. I had tickets for them because the pandemic got cancelled. Obviously, the crowd got cancelled for it. So now I was so upset because I hadn't been, and it was the last year. So now it's in Turin, but hopefully I get Laver Cup anyways.
That's gutting. But yeah,
what can you do? Anyways, thanks for being on, Stephen. I do appreciate it. I'll let you get on with your busy day. Guys, if you haven't already, I'm sure you have, check out The Slice, obviously, the website, YouTube, subscribe, Twitter as well. Stephen's very active on there. Go and check him out. Make sure you do all the good stuff, like, subscribe, follow. And of course, if you don't mind, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a huge amount. Thank you very much. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you on the next video.
All right. See you guys.